listen, we've all talked about the schedule. We've all had an opportunity to take a look at it, but we have not heard from the signal caller. Well, that wait is over. Deshaun Watson breaks the news on the 2024 schedule for the Cleveland Browns. He has some cool stuff to say. You know we're going to break it down all on this episode of The Ultimate Browns. Welcome to the fastest 30 minutes in all of sports. It's your boy G. Bush right here on the Ultimate Browns podcast, Ultimate Browns show. And as always, man, we always started off giving those voicemails. We need to hear them, man. If you want to be a part of the show, hit me up with your name, your city, where you calling from, and your take at 216-345-4433. Once again, Browns hotline is 216-345-4433 to get your voices heard right here on the show. Got a great show playing for you. We hear from the signal caller himself, DW4 Deshaun Watson, talks a little bit about the schedule. We'll get into what he's talking about with that. He got some games he's circling on that calendar. He's looking forward to the primetime game, so we'll hear from him directly, courtesy of the QB Unplugged with him and Tom Brady. Yes, Tom Brady, one Tom Brady, the GOAT himself. He's going to be calling the first Cleveland Browns football game of the season against the Dallas Cowboys. It will be his first call, highly anticipated. Tom Brady, they gave him a boatload of money. We'll hear what Deshaun Watson has to say about his excitement level about playing in the first game that Tom Brady is going to be calling and what that means for him. We'll get to that as well. And then there's an exciting piece, courtesy of the Cleveland Browns, the evolution of David Njoku. They've been doing some really cool things, putting out some content on the players. We've got a chance to go behind training camp and see some of the younger guys, some of the draft picks. They've done some things with Jerry Jeudy. Now they're bringing it to the forefront with David Njoku. I think David Njoku is pretty much one of the biggest representatives of Cleveland. Really has had a turn in the corner, and he talks about it a lot in his life about what the city of Cleveland means to him, what he's done to mature over the years, and just talking about how when he was drafted, he was a young kid coming into it, not really knowing how to be a professional, not knowing a lot of things, but what the city of Cleveland has done and how he's been able to mature to go from a first-round draft pick who was really green, didn't know much about the business, to now he's a consummate professional. He's a guy that is one of the best players on the team. He got the long-term deal. He has the security. And what he's doing now to pour back into the city of Cleveland and how he became a leader on these Cleveland Browns. So we got a great show playing for you guys. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And continue to make the Ultimate Browns content a priority each and every day right here on the UCSS network. Let's get right off to the situation. Let's get to the the topic at hand, boys and girls. Deshaun Watson on the QB Unplugged podcast talked with Quincy Avery. Schedule came out about last week. We've talked about it in the media. We've talked about it. We've heard a lot of people give their thoughts and opinions on it, but we have not heard from Deshaun Watson. This is why this is cool, because we get an opportunity to hear directly from the players. That's why I'm a big fan of player empowerment, especially when they have their own platforms, because we can go right to them and we ain't got to speculate. We can see exactly how he feels about the schedule. And this is Deshaun Watson talking about what games he's excited for and what gets him up as a player getting ready to play.
But this schedule came out.
Yeah.
Yes, ain't get to go to London. Yes, didn't go to Brazil. All the stuff we talked about, man. Man, you stateside, my boy. When you look at the schedule, right? What are the things that NFL players look at, right? When they're seeing the schedule, what are they like? Okay, let me check this out. Like, what are the first few things that you're looking at?
I mean, I can't speak for everybody. I think for me, it's just really who we start off with, and then like the first four to five games of kind of like, for me personally, I break down. Okay, these are the teams where we're playing at, the environments we're going to be in, and then the type of coordinators I'm going to be going against. And like, you get the schedule. You see the primetime games for sure. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely number one. So if I had to rewind back, I say primetime games. All right, cool. Who the primetime game? How many Thursday nights, Sunday nights, Friday, Monday nights we got? Mm-hmm. And then, okay, who got the Christmas game? All right, who got the Thanksgiving game? You look at the holiday game. And then you kind of feel in of what I was just saying, like, all right, boom, you got the opener. All right, then you start really kind of getting into the books and the studies of it. Now it's like, all right, what coordinators we're going against? Like for us, we have the whole NFC East in our first, I think, 5 games, our first 6 games. So they're off our schedule.
You done
halfway, not even halfway through. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of break that up too. The difference coming. Do we have to travel West Coast? Do we have to? Or is it all right? Cool. Is it 3 games back to back where we on the road and 3 games at home? Okay, that's a big difference.
And that was courtesy of QB Unplugged. Make sure you guys go out over there and subscribe to that on YouTube. I'm a big fan of what they're doing over there, Lockerverse and all those, and Deshaun Watson and Quincy Avery. It gives you an opportunity to check out what the words are right from the athlete's mouth, right? Sometimes, we have some situations where people write some things and maybe the athlete don't agree with it. But the great thing about this is you get to hear it right from Deshaun Watson, right? I don't got to speculate and say, G. Bush, what you think about this? You can see right what Deshaun Watson said. So for me, I've always, I never played at that level, but in college, when I played for Ohio University, being a MAC school, coming from a Mid-American conference, we was always excited to see what the primetime game was, right? Back then, it was about who you play non-conference. Are you going to play an SEC school? I remember my sophomore year, we got an opportunity to go to the Swamp and play Florida. My brother got an opportunity to play Ohio State at the Horseshoe. We played Big Ten schools. We had an opportunity to get Minnesota to come to our house, right? Now, Marion Barber, Lawrence Maroney, great opportunity played in that football game. So you always was looking for those type games. If you got an ESPN game or you was going to be on a CBS game or a Fox game, you always wanted to play and be under the bright lights. And a lot of times I hear people say, I want 1 o'clock games. 1 o'clock games are cool because, you can get it out of the way. Now, as a watcher of the games, me watching the games as a fan, it's kind of nerve-wracking. And let me know what you think in the comment section below. It is kind of nerve-wracking when you're talking about Monday night because you got your fantasy teams, you're watching all the other teams, and it's like you got to wait all the way. Saturday, you're like, okay, cool, there's some college football here. Sunday come around, you're like, man, dang, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Fantasy football will keep you in kind of in contact. You'll be kind of engaged. But then Monday come around, you got to go to work. You'll be there all day. And then you still got to wait. It just seemed like a long time, man. So, but when you get there, it's intriguing. It's special. It's great that you get an opportunity to be in front of the whole national audience where you're the only game. But that's just for me as a spectator. That's as a spectator. But when you break it down as a person who is playing the games or involved in the games, there's nothing more exciting in those games, right? All your friends, all your family, all of your peers. It's just like almost Friday Night Lights when you used to be younger, man. Our games at Camp McKinley, we used to play on Saturdays. We didn't play on Fridays, right? So we would get an opportunity to go out the night before the game and go check out our rivals like Massillon or go check out, rivals around town that was playing good games or if a big city school was coming from Cleveland, we would go to those games. So you kind of got to look on and you're like, yeah, it's cool. But tomorrow y'all going to come to the big time game, right? So, players love the lights, man. Players love it, man. And for anybody that's a competitor, and for any fans of the Cleveland Browns, you should be excited because right now, this is what we waited for. They put us on that red shirt last year. This is what we waited for, man. I've always dreamed that when I was coming up, and I would watch these specific teams around town, and I would watch the Cowboys and the 49ers. And I know a lot of people, we got a lot of people that want to be buttoned up, but you got to understand something. I come from the era where when I was playing football in my meaningful years, when I figured out that I really wanted to do this at a high level, and I wanted to go to college and play. We played in an era where the Browns left in 95. I started high school in 94. So pretty much my whole time that I was out of here, from my 8th grade year to my senior year, we didn't have football. We didn't have football in Northeast Ohio. So, there was the Bengals on a lot. There was the Steelers on a lot. And then it was weird because I'm like, man, they got the Ravens, but I knew all the players, but I just was so hurt by it. Like, I rooted for him like in my 8th grade year, and I just couldn't even do it no more because it was like, nah. So you got to think about it, man. Where I grew up, where we wasn't on TV, and then when we came back, we wasn't no good. So all of the big-time games and the Super Bowls and all of that stuff, we never got no opportunity to even be in front of a screen like that or an audience like that. And so we had a little taste of that when we had Baker and Odell, and it was like a little shot in the arm, and I got used to it. I'm like, man, these games right here is different. These games right here, like when you get to see when the credits come on and you hear the Nance and Romos, or you hear, you know what I'm saying, you getting that extra love in that 4:30 game, or if you under the lights Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, it's just different a little bit. And right now, the Cleveland Browns, it's a great time to be alive because right now, you know, there's very few weaknesses on this team, right? And you see Deshaun Watson talking about it, and he now knows, okay, we back to where it used to be, right? Because Deshaun Watson was a neighborhood, like a national figure. He was a dude at Clemson that was they called him the Michael Jordan of football. Like, you know, so this is when Clemson was really smoking, really out here moving around. And so now, you know, you go to Houston with the Texans, and he was known as the guy right up underneath Patrick Mahomes, like right there. Like, they said in the AFC, it's Mahomes and it's Watson. You can tell the excitement level right now that we get into, because now the Cleveland Browns is on that national stage. And I've been talking all summer and all spring mostly about how other teams have gotten better. But don't get it twisted. The Cleveland Browns is right there with anybody that you want to talk about. Right there with anybody you want to talk about. Whether it's the Steelers, whether it's the Ravens, whether it's the Bengals. Like, and Deshaun Watson, and people, listen, they be hoping a lot. They be hoping a lot. The thing I'm most encouraged by is when he be talking that talk, I've told him, listen, and we listen, we rolling, we riding. We need the celebrations. We need that, if you know type stuff. We don't, listen, if you throw some picks, whatever, like, you know, but we need you out there. We need you to feel like you can get to 350 whenever. You know what I'm saying? When you get that first 300 game out there, it's going to be lights out, because it's going to come all back to you. It's like riding a bike, bro. I don't care what I do. Listen, I don't care what nobody talk about, right? Everybody knows what they was born to do in this place, right? I was born to do this. Even if I stopped doing this for 2 weeks, even if I wasn't on UCSS or the radio or nowhere else, listen, you give me a microphone, I could go to Abu Dhabi and still get my money off. You know why? Because this is what I do. I would do this if I didn't have no money, I would do this. If I had a bunch of money, I would do this. If somebody fired me or hired me, I'm still going to be on these mics. And there's a bunch of people out there that know it. You know how if you can do crocheting, you're a monster. I crochet every single day. There's some people that you play video games every single day. There's people that's making millions of dollars playing Madden. They just know they was born to do it. So when Deshaun Watson see that first taste of success, especially when it comes in primetime Cowboys game, you see them jerseys over there? The Dallas Cowboys, I just be feeling, I feel like I be seeing Pat Summerall and the Dallas Cowboys. Man, just over there eating turkey. Wham! Emmitt Smith, Aikman, Irving. Listen. And I feel like there's like I'm in an imaginary Arlington with a cutout hole in the roof, bro. I want to see them dark jerseys too. I want to see them Cowboys jerseys that they'll never wear. I want them jerseys. I want that CD Lamb smoke. I want that. I want Jerry Jones talking to Jimmy and D Haslam in the middle of the field. Right there. I don't know what they're going to put out there, but I want it in the middle of the field. And I want them to be looking around like, yeah, how much money you got? A lot. How much money you got? A whole lot. How much more money? Hey, we got a lot of bread out here, man. Dak Prescott versus Deshaun Watson, boy. And I'm sorry, I spent that whole segment just like going down memory lane, just talking, having a good time. But look, we're gonna continue this ride. We're gonna continue this roller coaster. I mentioned that the GOAT is going to be there. Tom Brady's first game he's calling is against the Browns versus the Cowboys. What a time. Deshaun Watson has his thoughts on it, and we're going to come back and give those to you right here on the Ultimate Browns. The NBA playoffs are in full effect, and my dream has always been to score courtside seats in a playoff game. Well, Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of the NBA, which makes getting playoff tickets even faster and easier. Prices in the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets. What I love so much about the Game Time app is actually the logistics of the app. You talk about the last-minute tickets and flash deals and in zone deals as well. It's easy to find and buy Major League Baseball tickets and for every kind of event in your area, whether that's concerts, whether that's some of your venues, WWE and NBA, they got you covered. You can also take a look at views from all seats in the venue, lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, and job loss protection. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms may apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Welcome back to the Ultimate Brown Show. Make sure you're checking us out. Make sure you're following us. And make sure you continue to subscribe to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show YouTube channel so you can get all of our great content. And speaking of great content, we'll come up and tell you in a few minutes about all of the great content that we got going on each and every day right here on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show Network. Let's get back to it. You know, Deshaun Watson talked a little bit about his excitement about the schedule. We've talked about that. But he also has some thoughts on Tom Brady making his first call as an announcer in the game against the Cowboys versus Browns Week 1. Everyone's excited. This is what Deshaun had to say about this, about the
game. Man, you know you're kicking off Tom Brady's career. Week 1.
I know, man. I seen that. That's dope as hell. That's super dope. Like, that's cool. You know, the GOAT get to watch you. You know what I'm saying? So you got no choice but to put on the show.
You beat Tom a couple times.
Well, my rookie year we lost to him. Year 2 we lost to him.
I was at a game you beat them in Houston.
Yeah, I think we played them once or twice in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
But we beat them in Houston. I think it was a primetime game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like a Thursday night game.
So do you talk to the announcers before the week? Like, what does that week leading up to a game look like? Are you spending time with those guys, or how does that work?
Yeah, they usually come in towards the end of the week. Sometimes they'll come early in the week to watch practice.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's the home team practice, but I don't know if they travel to the away team. I'm assuming they do. But like if you home, you talk to the announcers on Friday. You know, they come to the facility after practice. You chop it up with them for however long, and you spend some time with them. On the away games, you chop it up with them at the hotel. Right when you get to the hotel, you put your bags in your room, and you go spend maybe a half hour to an hour with them and just kind of answer questions, chop it up with them.
So you get to, are you talking ball? Or are you just talking about like, yo, this is what I'm trying to do?
It depends. Like you might have people like Tony Romo. He come in there, we talk a little ball. You know, he's gonna talk ball. And then you might have some other, broadcasters that just want to kind of get to know you, how you feeling. Like if some people that you haven't met, some people you have met that cover games before, so they kind of want to find more intel on like that week instead of kind of the person because they already know who you are.
You know what's wild is when you hear that, it just gives you an insight into how much time it takes that these guys do that's off, like that's off the field. Like, yeah, you got to practice. Yeah, you got to lift weights. But there's so many, especially when you're a quarterback, there's so many different things that you do outside of football or outside of the field that is like really time consuming. Like, think about it. He says, Sean's talking about, they meet with you after practice on Fridays, right? So that's an hour. So you got to go in for practice. You got to get, this ain't even treatment, right? So you may need treatment or something. but I'm guessing you may get treatment before or after, which could take an hour. Then you meeting with them for an hour. You know what I'm saying? Then you got to get some food. Like you might, obviously, you might have a nutritionist or somebody's at the facility, but you got to do that. Then you got to be ready to travel. You may need to do something, or you may be going over some plays, or you may talk. So there's a lot of different things just on just the outside part of it that give us an insight into how the game of football is so popular. Not to mention before the game, after the game, you got to speak to the media. That's a thing. Like they may have local media availability as well throughout the week. There's just a lot of different things that they got to do in terms of being the face of, they get paid a bunch of money. So people, don't get me wrong. People will say, G. Bush, I'll do all that for $234 million. I'm like, yes. Yeah, I get it. You know what I'm saying? But money is relative, right? I always try to say it, man. There's always things about your job that you do enjoy, what you don't enjoy. And there's always going to be some stuff that, even though how much money you get paid, it's just part of it, you don't really want to, you just want to play the game, right? But there's more that comes to it, and there's more that comes with it. So I thought that was a pretty unique way to give it what they do behind the scenes. But in terms of Tom Brady, this is another part that I think is always great too, is, when you get watched and critiqued by one of the best to ever do it, the greatest to ever do it in terms of his winning and his success, you always want to be have the ability to be out there and be critiqued by those type of guys, man. For me, Tom Brady is one of those guys where you look at it, it's like, your game is on point. You want your game to be on point when Tom Brady talking, because when he breaking it down, he gonna be breaking it down at a level where people like, yeah, if Tom said you was trash that game, you was trash that game. It is what it is. Tom, hey, do not come out of here looking bad, man. And it also piggybacks onto what happens the rest of for the rest of the game as well. That game against the Cowboys is a game I'm so fired up about, because that game can really bring the Cleveland Browns to a point where people got to say, if the Browns win that game, a lot of people will try to make it be about why the Cowboys lost that game. But everybody's going to be watching. A, because Tom Brady's calling the game. B, because it's a 4:30 game. C, because it's the Cowboys. D, because it's Deshaun Watson. It's like, okay, what are you going to be? What it's going to be? It's year 3. What it going to be? They want to see what it is. People want to see what this new offense is talking about. And it is the Browns. And by the way, the Browns have a really good home field advantage. It's going to be warm. People are going to be out there banging on that tin foil. I don't know who does that, but y'all keep up that good work. We don't got the dog pound no more. Kind of, it ain't the old dog pound. But y'all banging on that tin foil out there. I'll be at home watching these games like, man, it's loud as heck up here. So Michael Parsons, you got your boy Myles Garrett. So this game, more than Tom Brady, is going to be it's a marquee game. It's a marquee matchup. I'm waiting to see what Tom Brady's style going to be. I want to see as an announcer, as a media guy. We know what Troy Aikman and Joe Buck do. We know what we know what kind of style. I like Olsen. Greg Olsen is dope. You look at Tony Romo and Jim Nantz. When even Phil Simms was the one he used to do it. Everybody got a little style to it. Romo like to call the plays off. Olsen does a good job of breaking it down to a layman's term. He don't get too wordy and over the top. I think he do a good job. So what is Tom Brady going to be? Is Tom Brady going to be one? Is he a name dropper? When I was playing against so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so, when I went against this defense and that defensive coordinator, this is what they were trying to do. Is he going to be a dude that tries to call out every single play in the audible? He's checking the XYZ Jet 3 motion. You're like, whoa, come on, Tom. We don't know what that is. Is he going to be every guy's guy? Is he going to just give some analogies? What, right? Or is he going to be a historian? He's going to give you the impact of different, different people who came before, a history lesson. So I'm excited to see what type of style he got. Let me know what you think his style will be down in the comment section. Is he going to be, one of those guys who knows everything? Or is he going to be a guy that's just going to dumb it down so people can catch on to what he's talking about? I'm interested to see what you guys think about that. All right, let's get on to this. David Njoku one of my favorite Cleveland Browns has kind of had an evolution, man. He went from being a young kid playing for the Cleveland Browns and drafted him really young out of University of Miami to now he is pretty much a leader on his team, a guy that represents Cleveland to the fullest, and he's doing it at a very high level. We'll take a look at the maturation of David Njoku coming up here right after this. You're listening to the Ultimate Cleveland Browns Show right here on the UCSS Network. As I always talk about with the UCSS Network, it is just not the Ultimate Browns. We got a plethora of different shows and content for you to digest if you're a Cleveland fan. Starting every single Monday, Ultimate Guardians, Zach Meisel, Adam the Bull, one of the best baseball podcasts. They get in the weeds about a lot of different things. If you're a baseball fan, Guardians fan, this is the place you need to be every single Monday. Coming up, Ultimate Cavaliers. These guys are going to get a couple weeks off. If there is some breaking news and different things happening from the Ultimate Cavaliers, Mikey McNugget and Jason Lloyd are going to get a little bit of a much-deserved break. Cavs just finished up. They were doing the post-game shows. I watched every single post-game show. Great job from you guys. And you want to keep it locked because guess what's coming up? The draft's coming up. Free agency's coming up. Trades may happen. Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley. What's going to happen? JB, Kobe Altman, we don't know what's going to happen. Make sure you check that out. And McNuggets and, your boy Jason Lloyd will have you ready to go on everything, all things Cavs. My man, Earl the Pearl, 216 every single Thursday, Ultimate 216. I was on the other day. Shout out to Earl. He's been doing a great job over there. A mix of sports and culture. Make sure you follow him. He's had some great guests from all over the internet, all over the Cleveland sports scene. So make sure you continue to check that out. And then, of course, come on now. You know what we do. We do the heavy lifting over here. Mondays and Fridays, we got the Ultimate Browns. Yours truly. You done see some great guests over here. You done seen Earl the Pearl on this. You done see Tyvis Powell. You done see Quincy Carrier. You done seen Darren Smith over here. And we just rocking the road. Keep that thing going. All things Browns, especially as we get into the summer training camp. Everything going on. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you like and so you miss nothing from the UCSS Network. Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Browns Show. Coming up, we got some stuff from David Njoku. This is courtesy of the Cleveland Browns. And David Njoku, he's been a guy who had one of his best seasons of his career last year. He's continued to put on for the Cleveland Browns. Pro Bowler, continued to represent the city. We've done some pieces on him. He's not taking no slander by the city, nobody else out here. He represents Cleveland. He takes no Cleveland slander. But this goes behind the scenes. All access look of David Njoku, the way he acts, the way he interacts with teammates, some of the things that he's got going on. And this is a courtesy of the Cleveland Browns. And it's an all access look at David Njoku.
Go right. You see him. He's trying to get low. He wants to sit there and jab all day. Oh, take away his jab. See if he tried to do it.
Very energetic, very funny. He definitely brings the energy to the team. He brings energy to the tight end room. He's a great guy, all-around guy. He's definitely funny and goofy.
Get his ass.
David is a social butterfly who's got a great sense of humor.
We're lifting at 9:30 as a team. Special teams at 11. Team meeting at 11:30. Gotta sleep in a little bit, huh? No. Kev, you wanna try it? No, I don't kick. Call me when we're ready.
Don't be fooled when you catch him in those reserve moments because he has a ton of energy. He's really great with people.
And that was presented by University Hospitals and courtesy of the Cleveland Browns. A little behind-the-scenes look with David Njoku. And I'll tell you what, man. David has really blossomed. And it just goes to show you that, people aren't finished products out here. When he came with the Cleveland Browns, he came out of University of Miami. He was a big-time athlete, long jumper. And he talked about, how he came into this league and really didn't understand the way the league works, right? And one of the most difficult parts about being a tight end coming into this league is finding your footing, right? There's a lot to do with whether or not they call different plays for you, what type of scheme that the offensive coordinator has and the philosophy he has for tight ends. Some tight ends come in and they're just glorified blockers. There's some tight ends who come into the league and they're just glorified receivers, right? They're, guys that split out. They're not going to block nobody. They're just bigger type receivers that, is a mismatch for safety and linebackers. So when he came into this system, into this organization, they asked David Njoku to do a lot of things. They asked him to be a better blocker. And before he even blossomed into being a tight end that he is today, with catching the football and being a guy who's a run after catch type guy, he was a much improved run blocker, a much improved pass blocker. And sometimes you got to do that type of dirty work until you can work your way into what you really want to do. And it's kind of like, when I started off in this industry, I was doing, I was a board op, I was a producer, I was answering. Matter of fact, I started off answering phones for the great BSK Kendall Lewis, right? And I remember working my way into, just being able to, run the board, and I wasn't very good at doing that either. People can tell you, that wasn't what I wanted to do, right? But I had to master those things in order to work my way and get my opportunity to do other stuff. And so David has done that. You look at the way he's been able to blossom at the end of last year when he had Joe Flacco throwing the football. And he really every single year showed you something different. First, it was the blocking. Then it was, I know what I'm doing on pass pro. So run blocking, pass pro. Then it was like, okay, let me work on being a better route runner. Remember earlier in his career, had a lot of drops, senseless drops, right? Worked on his hands, became a more secure catcher of the football. Then he started being able to run certain routes. Then he became a guy that now you catch the football. He did a lot of block and release, right, last year, where he would block, and then release off into a pattern, and he would catch the ball in space. And once you get a big guy that's 6'5", anywhere from 250 to 270 pounds moving around and lumbering down the field, where you got smaller corners and smaller safeties now, he was a guy that you couldn't even bring down. So he added the yards after catch to his game to add to the maturity, to add to the fact that now, as you see, he's a guy that that lights up the room. He's a guy that understands, that has a good relationship with the coaching staff, has a good relationship with the GM and everybody involved. So for me, David Njoku is just a guy who shows you everybody you draft out of college is not going to be a finished product. Sometimes they may start off a little bit slower, and you don't want to give up on a guy like that, because now when they handed him that contract a couple of years ago, people were like, what are they doing? And now you see where he's at today, and that type of contract they gave him is something that they look to use for a guy like a Jerry Jeudy, a guy that, may have not been, used in correct ways, a guy that may be maligned a little bit, but a guy that you can pour into and develop, and you can have a guy that could be a good guy in the community, a team leader, and a productive player. So David Njoku is one of those guys that I'm always excited to see what he's doing behind the scenes. Also, coming up, there's a great article I read where they talked about David Njoku going from about 275 pounds to about 250, because now he's talking about the game as being about speed. He wants to, before they talked about you can't, hip drag tackle. That's being taken out of the game. So David Njoku is looking to get a little bit lighter so that when he catches the ball, he can get upfield and he can still have that momentum to be a wrecking ball and a big time dude to tackle. But he still has the speed and the stamina to get away from you and to extend these plays and get more yards after catch. So, he's always looking to evolve in his game. I had an opportunity over the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We interviewed him as well as his brother. They are very intelligent. His brother is like a scientist, like literally a scientist. So they came up with this fitness suit. And Mikey McNuggets and people and Tyvus used it. And so that episode is up on Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. If you guys want to go out and check that out. But, it comes from a super smart family, super smart dude, super hardworking. So shout out to David Njoku and shout out to the Cleveland Browns for putting that content out there. With that being said, man, time always flies. when you're giving them the best Browns content in all the world. And you know what we do right here on the Ultimate Cleveland Browns Show. Make sure you continue to support us. Support us on YouTube and subscribe to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show as well. Every single, every single day. 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the overtime. You know what we give it up over here. With that being said, it's your boy G Bush. You see what the Barber Bowler is. I got my Clippers with me at all times. And you never know where I might show up. Radio, television, or even on the internet. But if you really want to find your boy, all you got to do is listen for the Clippers. Have a great evening and go Browns.